Hello everybody, this is going to be a multi-purpose update and thank you video. First of all, a big thank you. Although it's a little bit early, I'd really like to thank you all for 200,000 video views. As you can see here, I'm very close, and I've reached this little milestone here about twice as fast as I reached 100,000. So again, thank you so much for the wonderful viewership. Now moving away from that, my next announcement has to do with my camera. Now, I think the best way to introduce this is by going through a history of all my cameras. So we'll start here with the Olympus FE310. This is my original camera from mid-2008. The main reason I got rid of it was because the video quality and picture quality was pretty bad, since this was an under $100 camera. Never really worked too well. And what a surprise. The other problem that I always have with this camera is taking effect here. This thing would drain through about a set of AA's per 15 minutes of video. It was crazy how many batteries this thing would eat up. So let me steal some batteries out of my remote control so I could do a temporary demo here. These are your typical cheap included batteries, just by some random little third-party brand. An interesting thing to note about this camera was the fact that it actually took an XD card, not SD, you heard right, XD. These are only used by Fujifilm and Olympus cameras, to my knowledge. Now I can't get the card back in because I'd love to be using a tripod for this video. My problem is that I'm out of cameras. So the only thing I had left was the iPod Touch. So now let's actually try turning it on, and you've got to be kidding me. Apparently the batteries from my remote control don't have enough juice in them to run this camera. Okay. Forget that. If that's the case, then I will just temporarily steal the AA's, I don't want to get these mixed up, out of the ZI-6. Now let's see if these get the job done. I know these have enough juice in them because I was just using the ZI-6 before, as I was setting this up, playing around with it. Okay. Oops. This battery compartment was always terrible. Something not in here right? Okay, hold on for just one moment. Okay, that was my stupid mistake. I had the batteries in the wrong way. Now it should close. Okay, now I will turn it on. You have got to be kidding me. Okay, maybe I'll just forget about an Olympus demo. Now anyway, moving on. This is the ZI-6. I got this one in spring of '09, I believe. I used this for quite a few of my videos. This was back when I was on the Jack9547 account. And I had this camera right up until I started on the elevator channel. And apparently I put the batteries in the wrong way again. I never really liked this camera. It had a lot of frame loss issues. And also, the lens was so, trying to really think of the right term for it, pretty much the opposite of wide angle, narrow angled, I guess. That it just always took really bad videos. And look at that. Look how full this thing thinks the battery is compared to the Olympus. Always hated that camera. So you can see here, it's pretty much just like a flip video. You've also got the macro option. Oh, now it thinks the batteries are almost dead. Nothing really too special here. Then comes the Sony H20. This was my upgrade from the Kodak ZI-6. Now, this camera actually took very nice videos and stills, but the only problem that I had with it was that I didn't really think at the time how annoying it would be to carry around a camera this bulky. And not to mention, I mean, when I turn this thing on, I wish I had a tripod that I could mount this on, but when I turn this on, you see the lens comes out so far. This couldn't be any more obvious, which really doesn't suit my needs too well. And then, that's when I made another foolish decision. Instead of thinking of downsizing the camera, in the summer of... Actually, I guess it would be the summer of this year, I went for the Sony HDR CX110 camcorder because I thought, oh, if I'm going to have a big camera, I might as well have a big camera that shoots really good videos. Well, this only made the problem worse, because what I ended up doing, now I have two giant cameras. So instead of just having one giant camera to carry around for stills and video, now I just have a giant camera that takes videos and a giant camera that takes stills. So, realizing in hindsight what an absolutely foolish decision this was, I've made the decision to sell this camcorder. In fact, I've already made a deal with another person in the elevator community, and that person is going to be a surprise. But you should be seeing a test video probably sometime by February from its new user. Now, with the sales from this camera, and a little bit of my own money, I've made a decision that I think will end my camera woes. Because if you think about it, what takes photos as good as this, and videos just about as good as this? And the answer is none other than the Sony TX9. For those of you that know YouTuber Diesel Deucey, this is pretty much the modern version of his T900. It's very compact, shoots in full 1080p, and from all the tests that I put this thing through, I have a hard time distinguishing from the video that comes out of this and the video that comes out of this. It's very small, as you can see here, very easy to conceal, takes exceptional pictures, and overall this seems to be a very good camera. Now, one thing that some of you that are more familiar with Sony's newer models may be thinking right now is that I'm crazy, because these newer models are kind of cursed with what's known as a fishbowl effect, where pretty much the whole thing warps. And I used to be under the same misunderstanding that a lot of people are under, that that's actually a problem, but it turns out it's a feature, and an optional feature at that. You see, the fishbowl effect was actually put in by Sony to give you a much wider angle. I mean, it's incredible. Like, if I were to put these two cameras side by side and compare, this thing has such a wide angle when it's in the fishbowl mode. It's great for filming in compact places. But when you're going to film just like a standard video, you pretty much essentially can turn the fisheye off. Is that really... Oops. Well, that was really smooth, but it's not really the best terminology to use. But if you just zoom in to 1.4 or so, it's a little far there, but 1.4, the fisheye gets eliminated, and you have about a standard viewing angle on it. About the same as the camcorder. So again, I was under that same misunderstanding for a long time as well. So other than that one little hitch there with having to zoom in, I'm very happy with what I've seen out of this camcorder, and you should be seeing plenty of test videos and things coming out on the channel with this soon. And if you are familiar with my Flickr account, if not, I have a link on my channel. I'm going to be posting a lot of test photos as well. So with that being said, I'd just like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I guess I'd like to thank you for your gift to me, the 200,000 video views. So that's all for this rather long update video. Thank you very much for watching, and again, have a very Merry Christmas, holiday, or whatever you may be celebrating this holiday season.